Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to another special episode of Opinionated Lushes, Books and Booze, where we have some indie authors on our show to read a little segment of a book or upcoming book, and we get to interview them, talk with them. I'm slowly incorporating writer culture into my life. I don't write, I'm just pretending. This is just a front. I will pass it along to Dawn to introduce today's author.
Hello and welcome to Books and Booze. And today, welcome Raven Storm. I would love for you to tell us a little bit about yourself, about the book, and I don't know, tell us, do you have any pets? What's their names? I want to know everything.
Sure. Well, hi. My name's Raven Storm. I write a fantasy, romance, paranormal romance, the steamy good kind. So I have about 15 books out. This is only my third year doing the indie author thing. Before that, I taught music for over a decade, and then I didn't want to do that anymore. So now I do this.
15 books in 3 years.
Yes.
Damn.
Listen, I got 3 kids and a really grumpy cat to, kibble ain't cheap. So.
Wow, I'm impressed. No, that's a goal there, for sure.
I always talk about even writing one book is so impressive. Yeah. It's just done.
You just have to let go of that indecisiveness and just this is what's going to happen and stick with it and go. And then that's what editors are for.
And yes, before Jessica asked, I did do a little writing today.
Yes! I ask Dawn every time we do an episode. I think you're fine. You could probably take a few years off, actually. 15,
yeah,
that's a lot.
Books.
It's 17, but those 2 are still, they haven't been edited yet. They're waiting. I write too fast that I can't pay the editor to be editing that many books at a time, or we wouldn't eat. So
that's so prolific. That's amazing.
Oh my goodness. I'm in awe because I have 2 stories on the go and I'm going back and forth between them. And I can't finish. I'm just I want to change it.
Dabble. It's an online thing that another indie author turned me on to. And it's I was writing in Google Docs, but this allows you to have everything in one place, your character notes, your plot. It helps you plot out. So I can sit down and plot out an entire book, and then I can just hit my word count every day, and I know what I'm doing, because that's where I get hung up is what am I doing next? But if you use a little plotter feature, it does all that for you, and that really helps me keep on track. And I'm up to 5,000 to 6,000 words a day now with that, where before I was only at 2. So
only,
I'm lucky if I get 1,000 a day.
Hey, you got to start somewhere.
You do.
You build up to it.
But so, what's it called? The program?
Dabble. And they do a week free trial. So
because I'm using Google Docs, I'm just
there are no affiliate links. So I am. This is not a paid advertisement for dabble.com.
No, it's not. unless they want to
unless they want it to be.
You want to give us a sponsor?
Lifetime, so it's too late for me. But
nice. All right. So tell us about the book.
All right. Well, this is a brand new book. Most of what I've written is series. This is going to be one that's not in its own series. It's it's first standalone, and it's kind of like the dream book, that one book you've had in your head forever and then you want to write, because I was a Beauty and the Beast girl growing up who became a Phantom of the Opera girl, like many of us have, I believe, right? So this is my ultimate Beauty and the Beast, Phantom of the Opera combination retelling, with a little bit of Cinderella in there. So it's called The Dark Prince. And basically, it's about this girl who ends up in an accidental arranged marriage with the mysterious masked Dark Prince, who is cursed. And they work together, and sometimes not so much together, to try to find a way to break this curse. Because,
nice. That sounds good. I'm gonna read that. So I love supporting indie authors, obviously. And I try to read everyone's books. I normally read about 200 books a year, roughly. Mm-hmm. So hopefully I will have a chance to read that.
That's pretty good numbers. I mean, considering
Yeah.
you're a parent and stuff like
my
that.
account is not up where it is now that I write full time, but I still do what I can. But there's no release date yet. Like, it's on pre-order on Amazon, and that says August. And everyone on my TikTok has been like, "I can't wait till August. What the F's wrong with you?" And I'm like, "Listen, it's probably not going to be on it August, but I don't know. Amazon makes you pick a date, like."
Right? Like, it'll get there when it gets there, okay? It might be before.
Yeah. But I notoriously release books just randomly 4 months earlier than they should be, just because, it's done. So why not?
Yeah, exactly.
Give the people what they want.
Exactly. That's how you get the paychecks, right? Like,
Yeah.
Like, why are you gonna wait to get paid? That doesn't make any sense.
Exactly. Oh, and in very exciting news, this is going to be going to be my first book in Kindle Unlimited. So, yeah, all the rest of my stuff was wide, and I'm gonna dip the toe back in the KU waters and see how it goes.
KU blew up since the pandemic. Everyone's putting their novels on
when
KU.
I started writing, I can't lie. But I've just been, looking at different ways to diversify, and that's going to be an experiment on my end to try. So we'll see how it goes.
Yes, sounds good. Do you want to do the reading? Actually, tell us the words, because I want to get
what are our drink words tonight?
Words for you.
Okay.
The first one's technically 2 words, but here we go. We got Dark Prince.
Dark Prince.
We have Mask.
Mask. Okay.
And
I'm gonna get drunk.
This is the last one, is the one that's going to do you in. Feel free to remove it if it gets to be too much. But the third word is Roselle.
Roselle. Okay.
She's a bitch, and we're going to drink to that.
Yes. Nice. I like that. All right. You can kick us off whenever you want.
All right. I'm going to start us off right at chapter 1, because why not?
All right.
It's a longer-ish chapter, but we'll do it. Okay.
Yeah, we'll do it.
I won't marry him. You can't make me. Roselle's shrieks bounced off the walls of the modest manor, sending the servants and animals alike scurrying away to avoid her wrath. I stayed put, the hem of her white wedding dress clenched in my fingers. I bit down harder on the needles that stuck out between my teeth. My stepfather, Lord Perrin, stood half-dressed in his best suit, jacket hanging on a nearby chair. His shirt was unbuttoned towards the top, and his cravat hung at his neck in an untied mess. He looked how I felt most of the time. Isadora, hurry up, he said to me, dodging as Roselle threw a wooden brush at him. I made a desperate attempt to continue hemming her dress despite the fuss. My calloused, thick fingers struggled to get the needle threaded and where it needed to be. Such delicate work was for ladies, after all, and not servant girls who worked with their hands all day. In my head, I already rehearsed what the worst scenario was. I wouldn't finish the dress, Roselle would scream, and my stepfather would smack me in the face and withhold dinner again. That was fine. I could cope with that. I knew the cook would sneak me some bread and cheese, and Lauren would have a compress for my face. I'd survive it like always. Other scenarios swarmed in my head, causing my fingers to shake with anxiety. What if I accidentally stabbed her with the needle? She'd stab me back. What if I messed up the dress and her new husband didn't like it because of me? I closed my eyes and shoved the anxiety deep, deep down where no one could see it. I had to finish this dress. It didn't help that Roselle was thrashing like an animal in its death throes. My stepfather's attention turned back to his real daughter. The Dark Prince has been very kind to us in our time of need. This is the only thing he's asked in return, and you will honor it. He will be here this evening, you will be on your best behavior, and you will marry him. With nary a thought to either of us, he stormed out of the room, snatching his jacket off the chair as he went. There was a moment of stunned silence. Roselle's body vibrated, fists clenching as she grit her teeth. Her father never said no to her. Never. Roselle took a large breath in, and I let go of the dress in favor of covering my ears. I knew what was coming. Already my brain spun with the most likely scenarios and how I should act to mitigate the damage to my own person accordingly. She let out such an earthly screech that I felt it rattle the floorboards. More impressively, no one came rushing in to see what the fuss was about. It was likely that my stepfather ordered them not to. She screamed daily, after all, whether it was over a tiny hole in her hose or a proposal to a strange man. The servants were mostly deaf to her tantrums. She had to have known this would happen someday. Her delicate beauty made her quite a catch, despite my mother having been only a baroness before she married Lord Perrin. We were a minor, unimportant, noble family out in the countryside. Nevertheless, I understood why someone as powerful as the Dark Prince would be interested in her. Her long, blonde hair curled gently at the ends around the small of her back. Big, almond-shaped green eyes complemented her lithe figure. She was an accomplished singer and danced well enough. But she would need everything that she had since she didn't have a dowry. Our family was practically destitute after my mother died. My mother, not Roselle's. And with my mother's death went all her lands and titles confiscated and given back to the crown. Apparently the king was angry with Perrin over something. I didn't understand it. Regardless, the Dark Prince didn't need a dowry. He didn't need anything, since he already held all the power in our province. The surrounding villages, including ours, owed fealty to him as long as he kept his promise to protect us from harm. His skill as fighter was famous, perhaps infamous. He was the king's favored, and with the king having no sons of his own, many whispered he was a bastard risen too far above his own station. The man was feared throughout the kingdom, and rightly so. When the king had a traitor that needed to face his crimes, the Dark Prince was sent out. He was an extension of the king's arm of justice, his executioner in the night. It was also rumored he was terribly disfigured. He is old, he is ugly. How could father do this? Roselle grabbed at me, sending my needles flying. I grit my teeth and tried to smile. It would take me forever searching on my hands and knees to find them. My brain imagined every possible scenario where Roselle was married and happily away from me forever. He is rich and powerful. Of course someone like you would attract such a suitor. And he never takes his mask off when he goes out, they say. So no one truly knows what he looks like, I tried to rationalize. He could be quite handsome around the deformity. Roselle cried harder. I sighed and gathered what I could. With her in such a fit, there was no point in continuing, and my other chores weren't even half done. I'd be damned if I missed supper in the kitchens just because Roselle was having another crisis. There'd probably be a party with her leaving later in the kitchen after my stepfather went to bed. Maybe the cook would make those tarts I favored. I couldn't wait to see her ride off into the sunset with her new husband. She was the most rotten person I'd met, despite being the most beautiful, as if the more attractive you were, the more rotten you were inside. I wish I were ugly like you. Then the Dark Prince wouldn't want to marry me, Roselle sniffed, just as I gathered my pincushion and victoriously plucked a needle from the floor. Her eyes lingered on my hands and dirty feet, nose going up in the air. I kept my face blank. It was the best I could do underneath such an insult. I certainly wasn't a dazzling beauty like her, but I was still proud of my strawberry blonde hair inherited from my mother, offset by the deep brown of my eyes. There were no escaping, though, the scars and marks on my body that clearly labeled me as a servant. Even the muscles that showed on my shoulders and arms damned me as a woman of working means. Even so, I was proud of the hard work I did every day, work that would send her running from the manor screaming. Wait, that's it. He wouldn't want to marry you, Roselle gasped, coming down from her little pedestal to grab me by my elbow. I blinked, confused. She paused, looking at me with anticipation. My heart started to pound in my chest. It was never good for me when she got that malicious glint in her eyes. I don't understand, I managed to reply. She waved her hands dismissively. Isn't it obvious? I will tell father that the Dark Prince can meet me out back in the garden alone. What better way to spend some time with my future husband before our ceremony? She smirked in satisfaction at this plan, draping a silk-laden glove across her breast dramatically. My heart kept sinking. Here, get me out of this. Switch clothing with me, she demanded. My heart stopped altogether. What? I sputtered, clutching my sewing as if it might save me. My brain was screaming danger, but I was frozen, unable to act. Roselle scowled, already fussing with the ties on her dress. Are you dense? Pay attention. I'll inform father. The Dark Prince is to meet me in the garden when he arrives, but it won't be me, you understand? You will sit in the garden in my dress. The Dark Prince will see how plain and ordinary you are and cancel the wedding. No one would want to marry you. She gave a little twirl of happiness, spinning around and letting go of my arm. Run, do it now, my inner voice commanded, but I couldn't move. Did she actually think something like this would work? I had to do it, though. If I ran, she'd only make up a worse story to tell my stepfather. Seeing the doubt on my face, her tone immediately shifted. Wouldn't you like to wear a nice dress? She put one hand around my neck as if we were the best of friends. It will never work, I said. If one of the servants sees me, of course it will work. She cut over top of me, undoing the long line of buttons down her front. Now let's go. I am ordering you. Oh, great. It was easy for her to come up with such a scheme. If we were caught, she would only get a scolding and no pudding after dinner. If I got caught, I'd be taken around back and beaten so badly I wouldn't be able to sit for a week. I bit my lip hard, the pain bringing me back down to earth. The same outcome would happen, though, if I didn't obey her. At least if I played along, there was a chance we might not get caught, as small as it was. Surely the Dark Prince had heard of Roselle's beauty or knew her basic attributes. No one in their right mind would take me for the flaxen blonde beauty with her doe eyes. My hands automatically pulled my thin cotton shift over my head, stained with dirt and the bits of lunch I helped cook earlier in the day. Roselle fussed a bit more in her underclothes, neither of us looking at the other as she lifted her dress and stepped out. She held my dress out in front of her like it was a diseased, filthy rag. My lips pursed as I stared at her, hope rising in my chest. Maybe she'd be picky enough to refuse it, and then we'd cancel this plan. But then, with a pinched face and look of disgust, she put on my work dress. With determination, she helped me tie her own wedding dress around me. It didn't exactly fit right, hanging open a little in the breast area and in the back. I didn't have nearly as many curves as her, but then again, I wasn't fed as much either. How do you live in this rag? It itches, she complained, turning me around for inspection. Here, just let your hair down, but leave the top part braided. We don't have time for anything else. With shaking hands, I undid the small leather thong that kept my hair up. I held it out to her, and she glared at it with disdain before taking it and arranging her long, blonde hair in a haphazard bun at the back of her head. I hoped I got it back. I only had the one, and it had belonged to my mother. Oh my God, we were actually doing this. I ignored every awful scenario that occurred to me. The Dark Prince screaming at me, throwing me to the ground. I bet he hit harder, too, than my stepfather, since he was rumored to be a large man. My breath started coming in short, panicked gasps. Not that Roselle seemed to notice. Well, don't just stand there. Get in the garden. I will go tell father. I jumped to obey, dreading the first step I'd take out into the hallway. Another servant would have to see me. My stepfather would see me, and then it would all be over before it began. My body ached just thinking about the punishments likely to come. What if the Dark Prince himself punished me? The only things I knew about him were what everyone else said. He was large, mean, and lived across the boundary line. Roselle pushed me across the threshold of her room and hissed at me to start walking. I don't know how I made it to the garden without anyone spotting me, but I did. It was just a quick walk down the hall, out onto the lower balcony, and down the stone steps. I sat on the nearest bench I could, convinced this wouldn't work. The scent of jasmine filled my nose, and I inhaled deeply, willing my nerves to calm. I wasn't sure how long I sat there, but I knew immediately the moment the Dark Prince was near. I opened my eyes and caught a tall figure striding towards me with his coat still on, his cape billowing behind him. My mouth went dry as he approached, and I couldn't help but stare. A mask covered a good portion of his face, and dark hair whipped around him from his quick stride. He was only 10 feet from me, then 5, then 2. He stopped. Good Lord, he was tall. Golden eyes narrowed at me as if weighing and measuring my suitability. He might be handsome, was my first thought. Perhaps Roselle wouldn't think so, but he certainly wasn't ugly. His profile showed a large, pointed nose and jutting cheekbones, which narrowed as his face tapered to a point. Half of his lips were visible, large and almost puffed out, though it could have been a side effect of being jammed up against the side of his mask. His honey eyes shimmered as he studied me, almost golden in color, and held a keen intelligence. He was dressed all in black. The mask, though, was white. It was a peculiar thing, covering the entirety of the left side of his face. I couldn't imagine why someone like him needed such a garment, unless it was simply pride. Broad shoulders and large hands seemed out of proportion to the rest of his body, but each finger was long and slender. He moved with a grace and fluidity that I immediately envied. His eyes narrowed at me. Are you one of the ladies of this house? Holy gods, his voice. It was angry and deep, threatening in a way my stepfather could only dream to be, yet lacking his poison. I got the feeling he wasn't angry at me. It was just how he was, furious at the world. That was something I could relate to. I clenched the edge of the stone bench with my fingertips, uncaring of how rough the texture was as I tried to figure out how to answer his question. The truth, idiot? Yes, I managed back. I was technically a daughter of this house. Technically. The Dark Prince eyed me up and down like a prize cow, thinking hard and apparently coming to some sort of conclusion. I closed my eyes, waiting for the blow to fall. Too plain, too ordinary, too rough around the edges. You'll do, he said.
Wow. I drank a lot.
Yeah, I told
I
you.
had to open another one.
Woo!
I gave you an out, but you didn't want to take it.
No, it's good.
That's the whole point of this, right? Like,
We started this as just a reason to drink, to be fair.
Yeah.
So you're just helping the cause.
I did.
Exactly.
I helped a whole bunch.
Oh no, that was good. And like, I love your writing technique. That was
Thank you. That's
like,
this
I
is
can
all
visualize.
unedited, by the way. All unedited.
I don't think you need editing. Maybe formatting, I don't know, but not editing.
I
Like,
that when I published my first book, and like 1-star reviews later, that proved to not be the case.
haters gonna hate. Like,
Yeah, I was gonna say we've got 1-star reviews, and I'm sure they're from personal enemies who are spying on us. Hey guys,
We all need
just
a
follow
good-
us. It's
Everyone
fine.
needs a good nemesis.
exactly.
Right.
That's
Oh,
what
no,
makes
that
you
was-
interesting, you know.
No, I'm gonna read that because like I was right into it, and like that first chapter is strong. Like,
Thanks.
you get the idea what this book is gonna be about right away. Like I loved it.
Got to bring it in the first chapter.
Exactly. That's the hardest. Or your prologue. It's so hard.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's something like the first 10 pages or whatever, like makes or breaks whether someone's gonna finish the book.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
You know, like
It's even just that first sentence that you have to get that grabbing sentence to be like, yeah, okay, let's read this.
I love first sentences. I am obsessed with them, and I love first sentences, and I feel like I'm pretty good at it. That's like my
Yeah, like that was good. Like, I'm not marrying him. Like, oh shit, here we go. Like, right away.
Same girl, same.
I almost always start every book with dialogue.
Yeah. No,
I don't-
it's smart.
I write dialogue the best. It's all the other shit that my editor yells at me for, but dialogue, I can like do dialogue. So I'll just write like all this dialogue, and my editor will be like, girl, you need like, where are we? I don't even know where we are right now.
But like, just keep reading. You'll figure it out.
No,
like,
I
if you
think it's
binge-
great to start with dialogue because like the story is not like beginning to end from like someone's birth to the end. It's starting
Right,
somewhere
yeah.
in the middle of someone's life,
Unless I have
right?
like, a really good first line. If I can't think of a good one, I'll start with dialogue. My one series that is like Dragon Shifter, Why Choose Romance. My first line in that series is, I didn't ask to be kidnapped, but I wasn't exactly protesting it either.
Nice.
Oh,
Know what I would want to make a first line? It's like, I didn't ask for something, but here the fuck we are. I want that as a first line.
Yeah. Well, actually, I'm like plugging all my series. I'm sorry, but the
No, it's all good.
first I have like a 3-book contemporary witchy Why Choose Romance, and the very first sentence is dialogue, and it's her going, "Fuck nuggets."
That's perfect.
I
Oh.
thought so at the time.
Yeah, no, like that's like fuck nuggets. It's like, okay, I gotta keep reading. Like,
But that's the thing, it's relatable, right? Like you
Oh,
read
yeah.
that and you're like, oh, same girl, same. Like that's what I'm saying. So you get like hooked right away because it's like
I don't
very
even know where I think I
relatable.
saw the term "fuck nuggets" somewhere on the internet, and I went, yeah, we're gonna write that down. Like I literally typed it in my notes app, and then when I was writing the story, I'm like, we're starting with "fuck nuggets."
that's perfect. So okay, what's the title of that one? Because like, plug them
Yeah,
all
we want to
in.
know.
Plug
Plug
that
all your shit. You're here to plug
That's
away.
fine. So that the first one I told you is The Lost Siren. That is my Rise of the Draken series. It's got 5 books out. Book 6 is written and in the editor's hands. The Witchy series is complete. That book 1 is called The 40-Year-Old Virgin Witch.
All right.
The second book is called The Witch Who Could Give a Muck. And then the third book is called Hex Appeal.
Nice. I like that.
those titles. Those are so catchy.
I have
Like
fun with
titles.
words. We have fun here.
You should.
I feel like as an author, like that's part of it. Is like you should have fun with words. Like I get that
I
there's
can't
like
write it if I don't like the story and then, it's not fun. Like you just sit down and stare at the screen, and then it's been 5 hours and I have to pick my kids up from school, and I have written like 2 pages. Like I can't have that.
no. I feel like that's part of it. Like writing, like there's so many like rules to writing and stuff like that, but part of it is also like pushing the boundaries on those things if it benefits
Mhm.
the story.
Exactly.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know what I mean?
Mhm.
So yeah. I feel like that's the art of it. Like we're just writing a good story,
Oh, yeah.
you know.
I tend to just write, and then my editor, I pay her to do a very heavy developmental edit as well as the copy edit, and then she sends me back like a 75-page document of all the things.
She's like, here, this is what you
And
need to
it's
now
not
do.
changes, it's just all like, she'll be like, "Oh, yeah, I really like the theme that you brought up here, and if we go back and do this, that ties it together." And I'm thinking, "What fucking theme? Sure, sounds great."
Yeah, like whatever you say. Like,
Yeah, no,
okay.
sounds about right.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
she goes back in and, like, makes it, like, authory, you know?
Yeah.
Like, this like, my fan fiction dribblings, she turns it into, like, literature, and that's why I pay her a lot of money.
Well, that's a good thing too. It's like not just like it's never just like one person that is usually involved in how
Oh,
great
yeah.
these things become, you
No,
know?
it's a freaking team. Like,
Yeah,
Yeah,
you need a good team behind you.
she
Yeah.
be it.
yes. No, that's sweet. So would you say you are a planner or a pantser?
I used to proudly say I was a pantser, but, then I realized that if this was going to be an actual business, because I quit teaching the end of last year and I do this full time now. And I decided if this was going to be a business, I could not be a pantser anymore because it's not the most efficient way to write. It's not the most efficient way to spend my time. So I was looking for ways to become more of a plotter because I need, if I don't have an idea of where I'm going when I sit down and write, I can just end up staring at the screen. So that's when I got turned on to the dabble thing I was talking about, because I had a
Mhm.
fellow TikTok author had the same problem, and like she was going on in a one TikTok about how her word count went way up, and because she could plot it all out and the little graphs and stuff they had, and I said, "Oh, it's great." And I tried it, and in an hour or two, I was able to sit down and plot the entire story of the Dark Prince in like an hour or two. I had the whole thing plotted out. And then I could
Wow.
get up every day
Yeah.
and just write. And it's like, oh, what am I writing today? And then you can check and say, okay, that. Now, did I stick to that plot when I wrote it? Mostly. Some things changed here or there. And then as
Yeah.
I wrote, I just deleted the plot notes I had because a lot of them weren't even relevant anymore. But like I have to have a guide to go off
Yeah.
Mhm.
of, just so that I stay on track getting in. Like I try to get 4,000 to 5,000 words in a day.
Yeah.
So that's been very helpful for me just from a business standpoint, because I need more, the more books, the more income, and that's what we're going for.
Exactly.
Yeah, for sure.
I started writing, and so
Woo!
I'm half planner, half plotter. Like, I started off with like notes of how I kind of envisioned, like at least the beginning. I don't have any clue of how it's gonna end or
That's
what
okay. You just need to have
the
an
drama
idea.
is. But I started writing like a bunch of like points down. Do you think I'm following them? No, I changed it like already. Like as I'm typing, I'm like, oh wait, this sounds way better. And then like I dropped the ball
I
on half
find
of them.
it's like a common theme. We hear from a few authors we've interviewed where it's like they start as pantsers, but after a while, it's like they turn to like plotters in order to like consistently write. Like it really
Yeah,
helps
no,
to
for
have.
sure.
But
Because
Yeah.
in
I'm
the
the
past,
opposite.
I
I'm
have
plotting and then I'm
plotted.
pantsing. Like
Well, yeah, no, because in the past I've plotted and then I change everything anyway. So it's like, what's the freaking point? But then I saw, the best way to sum this up was I saw a quick interview, and it was George R. R. Martin, and he was on stage with Stephen King. And
okay.
like Stephen King writes, a
He's very
jillion thousand
He
prolific.
books.
writes 2 or 3
Yeah.
And
novels a year. Like it's
we
solid
don't
like
have to get
thick.
into detail about how George R. R. Martin writes his books. But they like said like how many books that he puts out a year, Stephen King, and then George R. R. Martin turns to him and he's like, "How the fuck do you write so many books?" And I think it's like the difference between the two of them. You just have to decide this is the direction the plot's going in. Like
Yeah.
I'm not here to create the best book the world has ever seen that I'm going to take years, maybe a decade to ruminate on and make sure the plot's perfect. No, I'm going to make decisions. This is what's going to happen because this is a business model. And
Mhm.
I can get feedback on that plot. And of course, I'm going to make it the best book I can. But you just have to make quick decisions on what you're doing. and not agonize over it for weeks and months and years. I have 2 books out, a YA book. I originally wrote 2 YA books first, couldn't market that worth shit, and then realized this romantic fantasy fairy porn is where it was at. So
yes, it is.
But
apparently, that's what I hear.
That first book was in my head for 10 years. Oh, it has to be perfect. Is it an amazing story? I personally think so. Did it take 10 years to write? Yes. Does it make any money? No. So
yeah. I feel like the current artistic model in like all the arts, writing, music, physical art, like all visual art, all that kind of stuff, it's like it's all in your prolification now. It's like how much can you just put out for people to see? you know,
put in a quick plug for the 20 books to 50K Facebook author group. Make sure you are in that. And aspiring indie authors, because their whole the whole premise is, if you have 20 books and you make $5 a day on each one of those 20 books, that's $100 a day. That's 50K a year.
That's true.
Yeah, that's true.
So, that's kind of the mindset that they take, where just keep writing, just keep publishing. If you get a one-hit wonder, great, good for you. Pat on the head.
Yeah.
But
and if you don't, at least you can say you did something, like my work is out
there. Even then, you can always re-release shit. If you 10 years later edit it, and you're like, 10-year anniversary release. The Stephanie Myers
hardcover with stenciled edges.
It's
the Stephanie Myers cut, where you take your book and then 10 years later you're like, here's what the story would have been if they were gender swapped, that's what you do, if you need to, if you're running out of ideas. There's so many, just put it out there.
Or you do new covers. Like, how many times do authors just make new covers every time?
I don't want to talk about new covers. That's a word for me.
And I'm just like, Jesus.
That YA series I was talking about, like, I went through like 4 covers. I signed with a small indie press when I first started, and don't do that. Unless they're good. If they're good, it's okay. This one was not good, but oh my God.
What would be like a green flag for like an indie publisher?
Other authors. No, to be fair. Okay. They had other authors, but like, they said they would do editing for me, and they had it edited, but there was I'm convinced the person never actually read the book. And the person who edited it never gave me, like, they just edited it. Like, it was like a line edit. There was nothing, no developmental notes, nothing.
They just like did like line editing, like
grammatical, just like grammatical straight.
Yes. And then I had to go with these 2 specific artists. I had to pick one, and those were the only 2 artists that could do my book cover, which I had to pay for. The book cover, and there was like no communication. I ended up, they released it. I ended up selling like maybe 100 copies, but I only got, like $50 from that. And then they ended up folding, which was awesome for me because I got the rights back. And then, we went ham. So, but do your research, people. I don't see a reason for there to be a middle person right now to take any of my earnings, unless they're going to put me in front of millions of people and make that worthwhile, like one of the big 5.
Yeah. Well, that's what it is. It's like, I find like a lot of I mean, I'm not in the book talk arts community specifically. I'm just here. Hi. But I do music, and I just find arts in general, it's like it's almost more better to be indie, because like all publishers and that stuff now, it's like they just either exploit you or they bar you.
I don't want to say that small indie presses are bad. That's not
no.
That's not what I'm getting at. I don't want anyone listening to think that Raven Storm hates indie presses. No, that's not what I'm saying. For me,
but the new book talk drama.
Right. For me personally, the point of going with a publisher would be to expand a reach that is beyond your control. Yeah. And I feel that with the amount of followers, I mean, I almost have 20,000 followers on TikTok. Like, I do that myself. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
And then, so unless someone's going to come, with a better offer, I'm good, and there are people out there who are like, nope, social media, that's a nope. I'm going to give that to someone else to deal with. That's totally fine.
Social media, though, it's a big deal now, though. It is huge.
Especially if you're an indie. I mean, even if you're not an indie, like, that's where people are. They're on social media. They're on Facebook. They're on TikTok. Instagram.
Traditional authors now are coming over to TikTok because they've seen.
Oh, that was a big week. Who was it? The week
Brandon
Sanderson.
Yep.
The week he joined TikTok, I thought Book Talk was going to implode.
Well, there was a lot of people pissed off, right? But
yeah.
He has a right to be on
Sandra Claire got a TikTok or something. Then a second big name got a TikTok, and we were like, stop.
This is our platform. Go away.
Well, and then you have everybody glomping on to the Book Talk phenomenon with that. Remember that drama? There's drama a couple weeks ago where Barnes & Noble's held this big Book Talk exclusive event and invited no one from Book Talk.
Yes. Yes.
Sorry, I don't mean to laugh, but ouch.
Yeah, because like, guys, the fuck.
Yeah, and they have a Book Talk table. Like they have
yeah. They're 100% just riding the coattails of what has been a community initiative to bring indie books to the forefront.
Yeah.
And it's crazy. It really is.
It's just going to hurt them in the end, though, for doing that. You know what I mean? Like, because...
Yeah, I hope so, but people are still buying their books there, you know?
I mean, I don't think people are ever going to not, you know?
No, I think Kindle, Amazon gets the most sales. I think Barnes & Noble
they own like, I think 60 to 70% of the market share.
Yeah.
When it comes to just online books being sold, even paperbacks. Yeah. So Barnes & Noble definitely is less than 50%. But again, some people have like deals with them, but those deals get them in front of, Barnes & Noble sends out an email with your book in it to 5 million people. Like,
yeah, and then Amazon gets mad, like especially if you're with KU, right? Because you
cannot be with Barnes & Noble if you're in
exactly.
KU. Yeah. Well, the problem with hope you just have to pray. I'm just gonna pray no one pirates this book when I put it in KU.
Oh my goodness, and that's another issue, right?
That's my only thing, but
and they keep popping up and people defend it, and I'm like, what's wrong with you? Like, and they're like, well, college books. I'm like, hey, college books are different.
I was gonna say that's like
about college books, but like any book I want to read, I just get it through my library. I live in a rural area, so my library sucks balls. But I did get a card online through the Library of Philadelphia, which is free to any resident in Pennsylvania, because I'm outing myself. I live in Pennsylvania. But then I can read pretty much any book I want from there. Because it's a huge library. Like,
didn't New York say that anyone can get their library cards?
They probably have the same deal. Yeah. As long as you live in state. Like, there are options. Every state has at least one metropolitan city, I bet, with a library.
Yeah. No, actually, New York was like anyone can get a New
York
library card.
There's also a difference between like educational nonfiction books for like a college class.
Yes.
And like fictional books written by indie authors. You know what I'm saying?
I would be hard pressed to have somebody find me a nonfiction book being used in a college class that wasn't published by a large corporation.
Yeah,
exactly.
Exactly.
Pirate from like the large corporations. Leave the indie authors alone.
Yeah, like
I just want to have enough to buy my Dunkin' Donuts every morning. Can we just get together on this?
Exactly.
I've had a buy me a coffee link in my bio for months now. Not a goddamn dollar.
Well, we'll make sure to link to that in the description of this episode. Oh, wink.
Because we have a buy a drink out there anyway.
Fantastic.
No, that makes sense. I have another question.
Yeah.
So character development versus world building. What do you prefer writing?
My editor really helps me with character development because I'm very plot focused in my head about what we're doing. And sometimes I can forget about the journey of the character. So that's something that she really helps me out with. I think I'm a lot better at world building just naturally as I'm writing. And because to me, I know where the character is going to end up and then I know where they start. And sometimes having that transformation in the process is where my editor really gets into my manuscript and says, hey, right here's a good moment. You need to reflect a little bit because this is a defining moment right here. Right here is the point where she stops referring to him as her father in her head. That's a really big deal. You need to have her muse that over a little bit. So I rely on my editor a lot for that. But world building seems to be easier for me just because like I'm a fantasy nut. So
That's
I think I'm the
awesome.
opposite. I'm more character building. I want just the characters. Like I don't give a crap what's going around. I just want to get to the smut. Like that is
no,
me.
no, listen, we
Take
love
off
that.
your pants.
We love that. We
Like
all
seriously, the first line is gonna be like, so I dropped to my knees as he unzipped his pants. Like that'll be my first line in my book.
that would be a great opening scene.
Exactly.
You're
Like,
right to it. Put it all out on the table, all of it. Just whip it out. Set the
he
tone.
was huge. I thought to myself, like
They told me in class to set the tone.
That
Exactly.
sets the tone of your book, Dawn, I think.
I know,
Like,
I
oh my
think-
God.
you know what, Jessica, you're gonna read it. So don't even
Oh, I know I am, and I'm gonna do my best.
Oh,
I'm gonna do
I
my
have a question.
best.
What do you
Okay.
prefer? Covers with people or covers with symbols?
Oh,
Because
Okay.
I have hard opinions about
I like the people covers. I do. But I mean I do like the illustrated covers too. Like it depends. Not the cartoonies. I'm getting really sick of the cartoonies now. Like
yeah, it's
everyone
like contemporary romance. Well,
yes.
for me, it's like how do you distinguish yourself as a brand if everyone's doing the same thing? But like
That's true.
like I write a lot of paranormal romance. I think fantasy romance and paranormal romance like tangle a lot with each other. But like
Mhm.
I cannot stand people on the cover. I don't, and it's funny because my werewolf series that I co-wrote with someone else has people on the cover, but that's okay because that's a really cool cover that like we worked anyway. But usually I prefer symbols.
I find with people, it's a lot easier to get cheesy. So it's like when you get that one, like, whatever photo of the people that doesn't look cheesy, it looks really good.
Yeah,
But it's so much easier to make people look cheesy than a symbol look cheesy.
like you gotta really like, find a good one, you know.
Yeah.
And when I'm looking, for
Fabio ruined romance. I don't know what to tell you. Like romance cover novels were all Fabio for like a
like
decade.
that's almost to the point where like it's preferred again just for its cheesiness, you know.
yeah,
Yeah.
so you
You've gone
know
the
what
other
you
way.
know what to expect.
And unfortunately now, like indie authors are using the same people in their covers. Like a lot of the covers are very similar now. They're using the exact same person in the exact same pose, but they change things.
Well, even in symbols, I'm. Do you think that the Dark Prince cover has a sword on it? Because you would be correct. There's a sword.
I thought there was going to be a mask on it, but okay.
Ooh.
No, it's funny because I don't actually commission covers. I troll cover artist Facebook groups, and when I see a pre-made I like, I snap it up. Sometimes I haven't even written the story yet, but I
Nice.
see it, I like it, and then I write the story around it, and that's what happened for the Dark Prince. I saw this gorgeous cover. I don't know if you've seen it yet, but it's just this sword and a Viking battle axe. Actually, it's not a sword; it's a battle axe because he fights with a battle axe.
I think you sent me the image because we have your
Yeah.
poster.
Yeah,
like, we
and
need
it's
your
a
poster
battle
for it.
axe.
Yeah.
And it's got beautiful purple and gold.
Yes.
And it like I was just like, oh.
The second I seen the purple, that's what I knew. I was just like, I love this one
yes.
already.
And
Like,
so once it's starting to get edited, I'll probably contact her for a full wrap. But yeah, I see the cover and then I'm like, yes.
it's like I'll take that.
Yeah.
Cash me out. Like, check
That's
out.
my Rise of the Draken series. I actually I had people covers first, and I didn't like them at all. It just felt really like cartoony and amateurish to me. So then I went out on like a pre-made site and I found my light hit my light. I found this like thing and super cheap, only like $80. And then for each book, we just changed the color.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, and that's easy, right?
It's so rad.
Well, and it brands it. It like connects them
Exactly.
together. Yeah.
Yeah, like the first one is this like reddish color, the second one is blue, the third one's green. We were starting to run out of colors, but that's okay. I think I'm going to end the series at 10 books, so I think we can handle 10.
10 colors. I think you'll find.
I just
Yeah.
sent 6 to the editor, so
I mean, there's so many. There's like aquamarine. There's orange.
You're
there's
like
burnt
different
orange.
shades.
Yeah, like there's violet. There's I got you. Like navy blue,
yeah.
indigo.
the
Like
options are limitless.
yeah.
Keep
All
it
right,
simple.
I got you. Just
Some
come
people-
talk to me.
I've seen people bid like $1,000 for covers in some of these.
That's
books.
insane to me. I'm
Like
not paying
these
$1,000.
really intricate character covers with like 2 characters, and he's got like gargoyle wings, and she's got like a dragon. Like it was.
Man,
nuts.
just slap some flowers on my cover and call it a day. Like,
Hey, that's a current trend right now.
it is actually, and I actually really like it.
I almost got a cover the other day because the flowers were just very pretty, and I went, no,
right?
no.
And I'm not a flower
You can't
person.
write another new story. You can't do it.
You can't do. This is another story. It's triggering me. Like,
I'm
Hey,
always
there's
working
worse-
on like 2 to 4 at one time, and we got to keep it there, or I'm just gonna go insane.
There's worse things to be addicted to be
Yeah,
fair.
well,
True. I admit I
not
have a
drugs.
problem.
Like,
I haven't bought a cover online since December, so I think we're good.
It's been a month.
It's been a
Yeah.
month. I've been clean
almost
for
2.
33
We're almost
days.
in February, so you know what? Like,
It's almost 2 months.
Yeah.
you're not falling off the wagon yet. You're good.
Do you have any more questions, Dawn?
I think I do. Hold on.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. How often do you do research for your novels?
Ooh.
Oh, sheesh. When it's needed. I mean, let me think. Well, it's not a fantasy, so I mean, research. You know?
Yeah.
I did write. I have one contemporary romance. I don't even think it's out. I think it's on Radish. Half of it's on Radish, which is why
Okay.
I pulled it from everywhere else because I tried to do the Radish thing. It's not working out. But
Is Radish that like app where you like
Yeah.
story play with like characters and like
Oh
you
no,
just, like,
it's a
read
serial
it?
fiction app.
yeah, like it there's one called Chapters. I don't know if it's something like that.
I don't know. People pay tokens. It's like Vela.
Yeah.
I haven't really done well with it, so I'm probably gonna pull it. Anywho, point being, it's a military romance, and when I wrote that, I think before I even wrote the YA book. It's not long enough. I need to go back and flesh it out a bit more. But when I was doing that, the main character, the love interest, he has PTSD from his time overseas, and I did a lot of research into that because he has a lot of flashbacks, and the main character helps him overcome his PTSD and start to live a normal life again. But when I was researching any scene I wrote where he was having a flashback, I didn't make any of that up. I read maybe 50 firsthand accounts of soldiers from Afghanistan, and their stories are the stories I told. I am not going to take it upon myself to make up what
Yeah.
then like that went through. So I read a lot of those stories, and those stories I put as his story because that's what people have gone through, and that's what people have dealt with, because I don't have the balls to make that shit up.
There's an author out there who was
Oh no, I know there is. But
there's an author who was she wrote a book about different parts of mental illness, and then she made that character a transgender character with mental illness.
about Bon and the Puppet.
Yes, I am.
Not that I'm gonna go name names or anything. I'm just like, it
There's
could be.
so
It
much
could
book
be that
talk
book.
tea that I don't know. Like,
be
oh
that
my
book.
god.
I gotta get you on it.
confirmed.
As soon as like it comes out, I'll be like, Jessica, this is what's going on. So like when we're doing our podcast, like
I started doing book talk tea videos. I couldn't keep up.
it's so much, it's so fucking much. I can't like
The one who
sometimes
came
if-
back from the dead.
Oh,
Yes.
I did see that one. That just
Yeah.
popped up. They're like, you might be interested in this. And you know what? I was
Anywho, yes,
interested.
research. You should do it.
Yeah. No, and like people that still love J.K. Rowling, and I'm like, why? Why?
Well,
Her
And-
writing's not
That's
even
an
good.
interesting argument. That's a bigger argument of whole, because I've even had family members be like, well, you should separate the author from the story.
No, you don't.
Okay, okay. The family members I know that say that never even read her work, to be fair.
They don't read mine either.
And I'm just like, what do you know? When was the last book you read?
Well, no,
Yeah,
it's really
exactly.
easy to shut them down, because then all you have to say is, okay, but the only black guy in the series, his last name is Shacklebolt.
Shacklebolt.
And that kind of shuts them up real quick. I worked on my
Yeah.
brother-in-law the other day.
And like I'm a huge Harry Potter fan, and I say this
sure.
like I was like this tattoo says until the very end on it. Thank
Cool.
God it doesn't say anything more obviously to Harry Potter. Like that's like a deep cut, but you know,
The author who shall not be named, but we
named
all stand Daniel Radcliffe. It's cool.
I buy things used now, like you know,
Yeah.
like and all the actors I support because they most of them came out.
Oh, they're so cool. I read Tom Felton's book. It was a really good read.
Really, I
Yeah,
haven't
it
read
was
his
good.
yet,
It
so
was super good, super quick read, super interesting.
I keep a Daniel Radcliffe mask just for fun.
Yeah.
So
That is
just,
fantastic.
I made it.
He's a beautiful human being.
We talk about
so-
him quite often. He's a
Yeah.
member of our podcast.
Yeah, he is a member of our podcast. So Daniel Radcliffe, always welcome.
Yeah.
He
Tag
can
him to
play
see if he
everyone.
responds.
Oh, I think I have one more question. Let me check.
Sure.
I think I do. Okay. So character development. What gets you in the mindset to do so?
Really just where do I want to go? And then how can we get there? Again, I don't like making up hardships. I don't like or things that I haven't experienced personally. So a lot of the times when my characters are growing or going through shit, it's stuff I have firsthand knowledge of or that I've seen. I don't know if you noticed, but in my reading, she talked about her brain spinning a lot, scenarios on and on and on again, because I'm going to give her really bad anxiety because I have really bad anxiety. Just where
Don't we all?
you're always spinning the worst case scenario in your head over and over and over again and how it can paralyze you. So I try to bring aspects of that in, not always me, because that's, but just using experiences that I've seen and that I've been a part of and things that make characters real people, because that's what we're trying to do. So you can't make them just, perfect, which is probably going to be one of my struggles with our dark princey guy here. Is he
gonna be egotistical, like where he just thinks he's just perfect, where he knows everything?
No, he's gonna do this thing where she wants him to hit it and he refuses.
Oh, so he's gonna like withhold sex.
Okay, so to break his curse involves the reason he's marrying is because that's how he needs to break the curse. So he's trying to marry someone he thinks he will not have any feelings for, because it will make breaking the curse easier in what he has to do to that person he marries.
Okay. Not giving too much away, but like the plot thickens.
Indeed.
Interesting.
I like it a lot. I'm really interested and I can't wait for it to come out. I will be one of the few that like definitely gets on there right away on KU. And I'll grab it.
We'll be there because we're gonna give it a go. So hopefully, don't pirate my book.
Yeah, don't do that, guys. Like that's not fair.
I won't put any more in KU if you pirate it.
Yeah, don't be jerks.
Pirate from millionaires, not indie artists.
Yeah, like go attack Stephen King after all. Like,
oh my God.
Yeah,
he's got billions. Like
pirate Stephen King.
Yeah,
not your local indie author.
Just don't pirate anybody.
I don't know. I'm all about eating the rich. So same with Jessica.
Steal from your local Walmart.
We need them to advocate for us. We can't eat all of them.
Just some.
Well, remember, Brian Sanderson just gave the middle finger to Audible. We need him.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
Yeah, we need them. We need
Audible has been like, that's another like TikTok drama and like controversy right there.
Yeah. I don't sell shit on there anyway, so I don't really care. But that's because I have book 1 of my Draken series on there, and it was horribly produced, and I am stuck in a 7-year contract. So
that's the thing. That's what I heard, is that you get stuck into like these.
If you do royalty share, so do not do royalty share. Just pay them a flat amount. Then those are your files to do with what you please.
Yeah. And if any of you need a audio book voice recorder, I'm openly available.
Honestly, I'm putting them through Google AI narration and putting them on YouTube. That's what I'm doing.
Fair. Fair.
AI all the way.
Follow me on YouTube, writer Ravenstorm. Subscribe.
Yeah, please just go off on all your social medias.
Yeah,
right
do
now.
it now. Just
Yeah.
Dude, I maintain, man. No. So I've got a Facebook page, facebook.com/writer Ravenstorm. I have a VIP readers group, which you can get access to if you read one of my books. It's in the back matter. I also am on Instagram, but my Instagram is just essentially my TikTok page reposted. My TikTok is where I'm mostly active, both Instagram and TikTok at writer Ravenstorm. And I post daily over there, trying to do what I got to do. So
we will also have your links in the description for this on our YouTube
I also have a
channel.
newsletter. You can be on my newsletter. Also, I have a Kickstarter coming up. You can follow that Kickstarter, and it will make a Kickstarter account. It's free, and then you can hit notify on launch. It'll email you when I go live.
Woo!
Perfect. That is amazing. Is there anything else?
Yes, I have a Patreon too. You can read.
Perfect.
You can read all my works in progress, all my rough drafts right now.
Right now. Like
Right now.
right this second. Like
I
right
love
now.
Patreons. Like seriously, like
I have one subscriber.
So do
we
we.
had one.
Oh,
We don't anymore. He
They
left
got
due
moved.
to his financial
waiting for her to leave
circumstance
me.
changed.
I'm waiting for her to leave me. It's like I get it. I get it. This isn't great. Like I tried, and it's just I can't focus the time that I want to on it. But there is some cool stuff in there. All the audiobooks I've made so far, all my rough drafts. I have put full versions of books in there. Don't pirate my shit. But yeah.
Again, do not.
Support,
Too
don't steal.
fucking
All
Excellent.
right. Well, I think that's everything for tonight. And thank you, Raven, for being
Thank
with
you.
us.
Thank
Yeah.
you so much. This was so fun.
This was great. I had a blast. I am intoxicated and I need to go to bed now. So
You take care of
I
that.
got drunk.
I
All
told
right.
you.
Good night,
Yeah.
everyone.
All right.
Good
Bye. Thank you
night.
for having me. See ya.
Bye.
Good night.
Woohoo.